Battlefield 6 is looking like absolute fire, so I wanted to come on today, talk about the game, what we know, and why I'm so excited for this release. Now, the game is dropping October 10th on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as the PC. So if you got any one of those systems, any one of those consoles, you're in luck because I think this is going to be a day one must play, must have game. Now, EA has come out and said that the game will not be releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2, and that's a little bit disappointing because that's a new console, and it would be great to play this game in handheld mode on the go, but unfortunately, we know that that will not be the case. Now, let's talk a little bit about Battlefield 6 itself and the setting. So, the game takes place in the near future, sometime in the 2030s. So it's really more of a modern combat game. And I'm pretty happy to hear that because the last couple first person shooters that I played was Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Vanguard. And those games take place during World War One and World War Two, respectively. So for me, as someone who's taken a break from the first person shooter genre, I'm pretty excited to jump back in to a shooting game during more modern times. Now, the first thing that really drew me to Battlefield 6 was the graphics. The graphics for this game look absolutely incredible. They're breathtaking. The design, the level of detail, and more importantly, the level of realism. This is one of the most realistic looking first person shooter games that I've seen, and also just generally one of the best graphically looking FPS games I've seen of all time. Now, I'm going to be picking up the game for my PS5. I don't have a PS5 Pro, so I am curious to see how this is going to look like on my console. But if you're picking this up on a PC, if you got a top of the line PC, I can only imagine what this is going to look like. And I am jealous because from all the gameplay footage we've seen, again, this game looks absolutely incredible. Now, let's talk a little bit about the environments because that goes hand in hand with the graphics. And it looks like this game has a wide variety of environments from more modern cities to Middle Eastern, more barren landscapes, even snowy and icy landscapes. So there's a great level of variety in the environments. And they have come out and talked about some of the different maps that will be released for online when this game first drops. And a couple of those they've named are in places like Cairo, Egypt, and all the way to Brooklyn, New York. So the game is international. We have a great variety of environments, a great variety of maps, and I think that's essential for this game to succeed because you don't want every map to look the same. You want players to stay engaged, to have that feeling of excitement when they jump on a new map, and to keep things fresh. So I'm pretty happy with that. And going a bit more into the environment, one of the big things that EA has emphasized about this game is the destructible environments. And to be honest, that's not exactly new with Battlefield, but they have really improved the physics here. They've taken things up to a new level. And destructible environments really ties in to that realism factor I was talking about. So to have more realistic looking graphics tied in with these realistic destructible environments, that's really going to keep the player engaged, have that feeling of immersion, and I think it's going to go a long way. And I am really curious to see how this changes the dynamic of multiplayer and the strategy because if you can knock down walls, if you can crumble buildings, if you can change the environment, then that opens up a whole new lane of strategy for things like team deathmatch or these different gameplay modes. So I think the destructible environments is going to be awesome in this game, and I'm really looking forward to chipping off some walls, launching some rockets, and checking out this new physics. Now, let's talk about some of the gameplay modes that we know are going to be included in the multiplayer. All the classics we know and love are going to be there, including Conquest, Breakthrough, Rush, Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, King of the Hill, etc. So, really, anything that you can imagine or that you've played before, they got them all. So, you can't really go wrong with the online gameplay modes. And they have even said that they're going to be introducing a new mode called Escalation. And what's unique about this is that two teams are going to fight to capture strategic control points. So I'm pretty excited to try out this new mode, see how it is, see how it works. Now, talking a little bit more about the gameplay itself, they are returning to the classic class system. So there's going to be four main classes: Assault, Recon, Support, and Engineer. And I'm not going to go too much into the classes because there's nothing new here. We know about these classes. But as you can imagine, each class has their own gadgets, their own signature weapons, and their own unique traits. And there is a new, what they're calling kinesthetic combat system, if I said that right. And basically, it's going to include some new combat enhancements, things like being able to drag and revive your teammates, as well as being able to mount weapons on walls, for example, to reduce recoil. So they have put in some new combat enhancements, some new cool features that I'm excited to try out. But that's not really the big selling factor for me. For me, it's really all about the graphics, how beautiful this game looks, and the gameplay modes online. Now, there is going to be a single player campaign. To be honest, I don't really do the single player on these first person shooters. But for those of you that do, I think you're going to be in for the treat. It does look amazing. And from what I understand, it's based around an issue within the EU, sort of a fallout between EU members, and some kind of new army rising up. So that's about all I know about the single player campaign, but it's good to know that they have it there for those of you who love single player campaigns. Now, again, I just want to emphasize how excited I am for this game, just based off how good it looks. I've taken a good breather from first person shooters, so I've had a few years away. And this, I think, is the perfect game to jump back into the genre with. I'm excited to play online. The game does have crossplay. So if you got a PS5, you can play with your friends who have a PC. And I think it's just going to be a great game. I think it's going to be one of the best first person shooters we've seen in a long time. So drop a comment below. Let me know if you're excited for this game. Let me know what you're excited about. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. So that's it. Have a good day.